Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Jeannie Zaire. I'm Director of Feuerstein Programs of North America. Really happy today to present to you the idea of Feuerstein's cognitive key, a way to unlock potential. This is a program for cognitive enhancement for two populations. It could be young children ages 4 to 9 or older individuals with needs for cognitive intervention, such as maybe 9 or 10-year-olds or even teenagers with special needs that have a special ed IEP. Even adults, I've used several of these programs with great results. Either group, young children, a 4-year-old or a 14-year-old, may need to accelerate their thinking skills or prevent dysfunction, get ahead of it before it happens, restore or remediate thinking skills. The goals of Cognitive Key are two. We teach content, some basic concepts and adaptive behaviors, while we present the process of learning how to learn. And it's kind of the missing piece in education. I think everyone would agree. We're so good in early childhood and those primary grades with what to learn. We need to learn to read and write and do math and count, but we're not so good with how to learn. And when children struggle with that part of their life, we often are at a loss for what to do. I was a special ed teacher and a classroom teacher, a school principal, and I was always frustrated with how do I help them learn better? Then I discovered the Feuerstein method 25 years ago. And let me tell you, I thought I had found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I'm like, oh my word, this is amazing. So if you join me or another, we have several trainers, wonderful trainers in the United States, for the first level of training of Feuerstein. There's about 5 days. There's some theory because the program is founded on psychology, like applied psychology, came out of Israel following World War II, helping the Holocaust survivors that were found alive in the concentration camps to not only get their thinking back, not only survive, but to thrive. And Reuben Feuerstein did a fabulous job of creating program after program after program. Like I'm a trainer of like 28 different programs. And so we're very prescriptive. What every child needs, that child gets. But the program also works really well in classrooms. So I have a wonderful early childhood center here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I live, called Children's Village. They have been using the Feuerstein program for, I think we're up to almost 10 years now. That they keep their teachers trained and they use this theory and this method and these tools to help their little ones be better thinkers. When they hit the door of kindergarten, they're ready to go. Mediated learning experience is the process of interacting with children or with a learner. Cognitive functions are identified, 28 of them altogether. And with young children, they're mostly emerging. Sometimes they're already inefficient, but they may also be very well developed. And as teachers and staff, and you can train anyone on your staff, you do not have to have any particular degree to take this training, which is fascinating. Most of us in the professional world are used to, well, you have to already have this degree to get this training. Reuven was emphatic that anyone take the training. And now it's not for the faint of heart. It is a very rigorous 5 day training, but so worth it. There are instruments, is what we call the tools or the little programs. I'm going to show you several of them. And you can scaffold them. If you're the teacher of the 3-year-old, you can work with the idea of the page and maybe do something a little different with it, of course. But it's that thinking skill that the teacher learns that's going to help them look at everything they present to their children through new eyes. The Feuerstein program is foundational to all other programs academic or social emotional that we use with our children, use the Feuerstein program, and all other programs will have even better results. And if I'm your trainer, I love to talk about implementation plans, and I think the other trainers do too. Like, how do we implement? Which one should we use first? Which one for what age? We love to discuss that with you as you go through training. Some of the pictures that you're going to see in this PowerPoint are from when I was a principal of these beautiful children. Outcomes of training. Dr. Gwen Kennard, a dear, dear friend of mine, and also a Feuerstein trainer. Gwen wrote that participants will integrate cognitive and affective tools. Think about that combination of the FIE basic instruments, and that's what we used to call cognitive keys. So you're still going to see FIE, Feuerstein, instrumental enrichment, basic, standard. Those are our new names, and we're slowly shifting over to our new name for this program is cognitive key. Within curriculum, instruction, and even assessment, which was mind blowing for me and so powerful. At the early childhood level, or for older students with special needs, you can explore and identify the connections between cognition, affect, and academics. And I thought Gwen said it so well, I just got to quote her. Overview of the instruments. I'm going to give you first the three affect focused instruments: identifying emotions, empathy to action, and think and learn to prevent violence. And oh, Children's Village loves these. Let's look at cognition and affect or emotion are different sides of the same coin. Now, Piaget said that. Feuerstein, who was Piaget's student, and if you've had any child psychology courses in college, then you know who Jean Piaget is. Well, Feuerstein was his student. I was Reuben's student. So I'm just two steps away from Piaget. That's mind blowing too. Well, maybe it's just because I'm old. But anyway, Feuerstein added, but the coin is transparent and mediation is the edge. Mediation is how we link thinking skills and social emotional skills. So, identify emotions is not about the child's emotions. So, you may go there, you may talk about it a little bit. The focus is on what are the facial cues on this woman's face that you can use to identify that she is expressing a certain emotion. Now, you may have first thought happy, but think again. It is, and I bet you're saying it, surprise, right? And it is happy surprise. And then I'm only showing you two of the pictures that you mediate, discuss at great length with the children. What do you see? What is happening? Do you think those people would have faces that would look like hers? Notice we don't see the little girl's face who's admiring the flower. We don't see the four people who are looking at the spaceship. We don't see their face. So we're cognitively considering the environment and the situation and linking it to would that be an appropriate situation to have that emotion. Fabulous discussion. You would not believe how fun this is with 3 and 4 year olds. They get into it. Empathy to action is the next one in this series. If you choose to do them in a row, you don't have to, but you could. Don't do empathy to action until the children have learned how to identify emotions because we got to look at, I often call the boy Sam. We look at Sam's face and we try to figure out how is he feeling and why. And so the children do a bunch of problem solving and picking up cues to figure out why. And then I call the other boy in the striped shirt, Mitch. You can call him anything you want. Mitch comes along with a bicycle. And again, there's four different possible solutions that Mitch provides. He could give Sam a ride on his bike because we never say these are strangers. Sam knows Mitch. Or he could try to tie the tire on with a rope. Oh, well, he cares. He maybe has sympathy for Sam, but that's not an appropriate action. That's not going to help Sam at all. So again, a lot of fun conversation with the children. I think it's what's kept me so passionate about the Feuerstein program is the program brings a lot of laughter, but a lot of deep thinking. And to get both of those, wow. Think and learn to prevent violence. Reuven and his son, Rafi Feuerstein, who is now the president of the Institute, Dr. Feuerstein, Reuven Feuerstein, passed away in 2014. And so now his son, Dr. Rabbi Rafi Feuerstein, is the president. And Rafi was very instrumental in creating these tools. So think and learn to prevent violence. We know the world has a lot of violence. But the pictures that you're going to see in these pages is basically what we would call aggression. And so we see a situation where something's going on that doesn't look good. Somebody is unhappy, there's an argument, there's something going on. In this case, two boys fighting over a teddy bear. So there's A and B possible reactions down below. Could the boy in the gold shirt go get another toy and say, hey, why don't we do this together? Or does he just keep pulling? And look at the teddy bear's face. Even the teddy bear is a bit in shock. He's getting ripped apart there. So there's two more, there's a lot more to it, but I'm just showing you how the page begins. So, emotion or cognition, where to begin? Well, cognition generates emotions, no less than emotions lead to cognition. Reuven taught us that cognition is easier to change. You don't tell someone, oh, stop being mad, or you shouldn't be angry. You know how that goes. It doesn't work, does it? But if we help children be better thinkers and get those frontal lobes rewired and better networked, by doing cognitive work, that's what controls the amygdala. The amygdala is deep in the limbic system and it gets triggered when we become afraid or angry and it shuts down the frontal lobes. So the only way to control that is to have a better networked prefrontal cortex. And the Feuerstein program does a superb job of that. So we target cognition, and emotion is like a topic, but we're not telling kids, asking them all the time, "Oh, how do you feel today?" They may not know. Let's work on their thinking skills. Perceptual motor development. There's two wonderful programs that I love. Well, I love all of them. Organization of dots and tri-channel attentional learning. The tri-channel uses a box and the children put their hands in the box and you're at the other side of the box and your side is open. And the children are exploring a wooden shape. They don't get to see it. And they're trying to figure out, is it straight lines or is it curved lines? And that's with your mediation, with you asking good questions. They explore it and then they take their hands out of the box and they draw it. And now you have a window into that beautiful little brain. You're seeing what they see depending upon what they draw. Fabulous program. And again, I'm describing tri-channel attentional learning. It's tactile, graphic, and visual, and it can help prevent learning disabilities, help prevent a child becoming ADHD or having impulsivity issues. So tri-channel, very powerful, wonderful program. Another one that we really like is organization of dots. The theme or motto of all Feuerstein programs, all 30 of them, is just a moment, let me think. And that was pretty brilliant of Reuven to come up with back in, well, I don't know, it could have been in the 1950s. He didn't know cell phones were coming and computers were coming that would speed up our life so fast that we can't hardly keep up. But organization of dots is visual motor. Children hold a pencil and they're going to connect those dots to make it look like a ladder. So you don't go down those dots, you go across from one dot across the far space to the other dot to make horizontal lines in this first frame. And then the second frame, vertical lines going up and down. Then we talk about diagonal lines. What is diagonal? and then back to vertical. So we teach vocabulary like that to as young as 3 and 4 years old. And it's so fun to hear them learn how to say horizontal and vertical and diagonal. We do not hesitate to teach young children big words. Eventually, the program will get this complex where we have 8 dots in a frame. And fortunately, we've color coded these so that I've got to find the 4 red dots and connect them. Then I find 4 black dots and carefully draw lines to connect them. And carefully is part of the program. This is not about how fast I can do it. This is about how precise and accurately I can do it. So we actually promote slowing down, thinking, take your time. In school, by the time children hit kindergarten, they quickly pick up, oh, I've got to hurry. I got to be the first one to put my paper on the teacher's desk. And they pick up this message that fast is smart. That's not a good message to give because there's so many things in the world that we need to slow down and do carefully. There's abstract integrative thinking. And one of those programs is called Compare and Discover the Absurd. And there's a set A and a set B. We have a lot of great discussion on this page. So this would be one lesson, and you could stretch the lesson with 4-year-olds or even kindergartners or first graders over a couple days. It's not like you have to start the lesson and finish something because there's so much discussion. What do you see? What's in picture one, which is the little man, the little cart, the big donkey. What's in picture two? Oh, a little donkey and a big cart. So this page is all about you asking questions. What do you see? And can you compare the picture one to picture two? Can you use size and compare picture one to picture two? Something. So if you compare the donkeys, you would say the donkey in picture one is bigger than the donkey in picture two. Now, young children are going to say, donkey in picture one is big, donkey picture two is little. That's okay. That's a start. And then eventually you want to get them to use comparative language to say bigger than, smaller than. But we use all the criterion: effort, activity, facial expression, size, color, shape, and the children learn the criterion for comparing. Know and identify. I love doing this at Children's Village. I took the 5 pictures and first we talked about them. What are they? Do they know their names? And then I would ask questions. What's something that we travel in them? Well, they got to understand the word travel and in, and hopefully they're going to figure out, oh, it's the train and the car. Such good thinking for 3 and 4-year-olds, or if you have a language delayed 10-year-old. We sit on it or we sit in it. Well, what do we sit on? We sit on a chair. What do we sit in? We sit in a car or a train. So you have different answers for number two. So fabulous logic, inferential thinking. Learn to ask questions for reading comprehension is one of those programs I love to use in first and second grade. It gets kids set up for success for reading. They do not have to know how to read. You read it to them, you get them to look at the pictures, and then you ask the questions. Now, once they hit second and third grade, if they can read, we use this with fifth and sixth graders or high school students that are struggling with reading comprehension. When you're reading, your brain is asking questions. Who is that? What is he doing? What's he holding on with? And a lot of it is subconscious. We bring it to the conscious level and help children be aware of the questions that sometimes you have to ask to understand what is going on in a story. Many, many pages in that program. Unit to Group is a pre-math foundational program. There's little rules, and sorry, I didn't realize that my rules were fuzzy. You're going to take a pencil and circle 2 in a group And then you're going to use the same figures, the red squares and the black dots, but you're going to regroup them and put three in a group. So your lines are going to cross. So you're teaching the associative property of mathematics without ever talking about that. Without ever talking about multiplication, you are teaching the ability to multiply with beginning with simple counting and drawing loops. Orientation in space is a vocabulary and concept builder. What does in, above, under, what do those words mean? Outside, behind, inside, in front of, and next to. This is a short program. There's only about 6 lessons in this one, maybe 7. But there's 2 pages for each lesson. And again, it could take a whole week for young children to do the whole lesson. You don't rush this. You might do a 15 to 20-minute lesson a day in groups of at Children's Village. They put the groups in groups of 10, but it also works really well in groups of 5. So up to you with how you organize your early childhood center or your classroom. What are we doing with this program? We are growing cognitive capacity. Now, another way to interpret that is getting smarter. We're helping our kids get smarter. We're literally growing intelligence. And the method we're using is called mediation. So now look at my triangle. You're the person, the mediator, down in that bottom corner. And the student requires you to bring good mediation to the task. You're asking questions like, what do you see? What else do you see? Can you find anything else? Keep looking. And then you ask, after the child has collected a lot of information from answering that question, you move on to, well, what do you think the problem is here? Or the challenge? Or what do you think we're supposed to do? Have you figured it out? And so you're getting the child to do the thinking. This is very different from direct instruction. So here's how we're pulling the child into the task, getting them to reciprocate and to be able to do the thinking instead of us telling them what to do. So the student is going to require good mediation, but the child brings his thinking skills to the task. So that's the other side of the triangle. And the mediator needs to be able to analyze the task really well, be able to know, what am I asking of this child? What will it require of him cognitively? And you learn how to do that when you take the Feuerstein training. So there is a whole world out there that needs this program. I've been doing it for 25 years and I've spent 50 years of my life in education. Yes, it's true. I'm that old. And I've never seen another program come even close to what the Feuerstein method provides. So you see that little circle inside the triangle. That represents structural cognitive modifiability. Reuven Feuerstein began his journey knowing no matter what has happened to these teenagers that had been in the concentration camps, that they were capable of coming back, of their brain being brought renewed. And we now know that this is supported with science, with neuroplasticity. But Reuven didn't know about that until his later years. We are thrilled that Reuven lived long enough. He was 92, still going to work every day, by the way, to learn about neuroplasticity, that his theory of structural cognitive modifiability that he dreamt up back in the 50s was proven true by neuroscience. There's a world out there that needs mediation. We have many children with trauma, children in a crisis, children that have been born with genetic abnormalities. So there's so much work to do in our early childhood centers, public schools, private schools, home schools. Everywhere there are children, we want them to succeed. And the Feuerstein program can help that happen. I hope this has been helpful to you. And my name is Dr. Jean Zaire, and whoever sent you this Zoom recording can get you in touch with me. But I would love to converse with you if you'd like to know more about how to get the training in your city. Again, I'm the director of programs for North America, and I'd love to help you. Thank you.